Truth isn't trendy, it's eternal, positioning Israel doctrine as timeless and unshakable. I don't follow the crowd, I follow the covenant. Separates the movement from popular culture. The streets talk, I correct them. Asserts authority and credibility in debates. Israel doctrine, where facts cut deeper than feelings. Appeals to logic over emotion. If it's not scripture, it's just opinion. Keeps focus on the Bible as the foundation. I'm not here to be liked, I'm here to be right. Bold, confident tone that builds respect. This isn't religion, this is restoration. Shifts the brand from dogma to revival of truth.
Peace, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Israel Doctrine's Google Hangout. I'm your host, Carl Albert Davis, and you have entered into our Google Hangout, which today's entitled 5K1 Series 2. Or 5K1 Series Episode 2. TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine, the streets just got louder. There's a lot of stuff going on the YouTube streets. You know, people want to address me and things, but I haven't heard no one address this 5K1 series or the Murder Doctrine series. They might have mentioned the name, but this is what I'm doing. Minding my own business, doing my series. So, as I say, I'm winning till I lose. Let's go.
5K1 Series Episode 2, TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine, Hassan Poppy Campbell, WAC 100 and the Bloods.
Right. You know, about to hear it again, but it ain't gonna kill you.
Welcome to the 5K1 Series Episode 2 titled, How the Rapper TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine, Hassan Poppy Campbell, WAC 100 and the Bloods.
And the Bloods. Very deep series, people. We're gonna take our time and go through it. No need to rush, no need to cuss nobody out. We ain't into it with nobody on YouTube. They talking about me is because they want to be me.
To give you the viewers some of the basic research of what a 5K1 recipient is, a 5K or 5K motion in the federal system is a motion filed under Section 5K1.1 of the United States Sentencing Guidelines, requesting a sentence below the guidelines based on substantial assistance by the defendant. In the federal system, one way to benefit from a cooperation agreement is through a motion under Section 5K1.1 of the United States Sentencing Guidelines. The United States Code are laws approved by Congress and codified into law under the short-term USC 18 U.S. Code Section 3553, subsection E, limited authority to impose a sentence below a statutory minimum. Upon motion of the government, the court shall have the authority to impose a sentence below a level established by statute as a minimum sentence so as to reflect a defendant's substantial assistance in the investigation or prosecution of another person who has committed an offense. Such sentence shall be imposed in accordance with the guidelines and policy statements issued by the Sentencing Commission pursuant to Section 994 of Title 28, United States Code.
So, sodomite doctrine, is this true? You want to speak on it? Or have I caused you to be afraid to speak behind this? I'm not rehashing no old stuff. I'm not a sodomite. I don't get down with the sodomite stuff. I'm an Israelite.
This episode we will be speaking about the rapper TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine becoming a nationally known 5K1 recipient or a federal witness who took down an operation of Blood Gang affiliate. I will also be discussing TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine and his ties to Hassan Poppy Campbell and California Peru Blood and hip-hop manager WAC 100. This episode is going to deep dive into the prison pipeline that has been activated on the YouTube streets by hip-hop informants, some known and some potential confidential human sources, and how a major racket has been covered up for at least 8 years online. I will be discussing the deceased hip-hop DJ TEK-KAH-SHE and how his West Coast arm of Straight Stuntin' magazine by way of WAC 100 Entertainment has worked to cover up for Afrika Bambaataa and the Universal Zulu Nation, and how Hassan Poppy Campbell, who I believe was a co-conspirator in the cover-up of potential murder of victims in an international child and adult sex trafficking ring.
Child and adult sex trafficking ring. Sodomite doctrine, because he want to be Israel doctrine, but he's sodomite doctrine. He won't speak on that. He won't speak how his homeboy, WAC 100 and TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine ended up on the jumper with Hassan Campbell. Because the federal government was involved. To the point where when I stated things over the last 8 years, I'm getting quoted by him now. I stated when me and Hassan started, Hassan, I own you now. Everything you are, I'm the one that has the power over this, that, and everything else. I watched a video today, somebody quoting me and quoting what I said and the things I did. Why? Because they've been around the whole time. And it's sodomite doctrine. I'm Israel doctrine. Y'all know who sodomite doctrine is, right? Yeah, I'm a sodomite, and he proud to be everything. Yes, I'm chasing you and everything. I mean, there's no shame in this game now. I beat a man down to what he has no shame. I'm a bad, shut your mouth. I don't care what anybody say. I don't care what nobody says. Anybody agree that I'm a bad mother, shut your mouth? Hello to the 4 people in the room. Hello to the YouTube street queen.
Make no mistake, as we witness the current allegations of a $10 million lawsuit against Hassan Poppy Campbell by the now incarcerated notorious Queens New York Street legend Supreme Kenneth McGriff, and with recent federal indictments of the WAC 100 affiliate Loose Cannon and Big U of the Rolling 60s Crip Gang, we are watching these YouTube streets begin to flood with confidential informants, gangbangers, and even as far as the state and federal prisons, all working together. This involves book deals and documentaries and street tales being blended into the real world and on social media, and how the modernization of rackets online is fast underway. Many people will fall victim to these modern fake news stories perpetuated by charitable organizations, including some religious organizations, and all of the inner workings of what I have witnessed personally as the king in these YouTube streets. I will be exposing how my methods of pre-recording individuals like Hassan Campbell before conducting an interview in 2017 was later copied by Hassan Campbell recording WAC 100 with claims of extortion against the now deceased rapper Nipsey Hussle by WAC 100 and the now incarcerated Big U. I will expose how TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine would become a nationally known federally informant and then cross paths with WAC 100 and Hassan Campbell and go viral. I will speak to you all about the 6 degrees of separation to actual unsolved murders and how these events that we have witnessed in these YouTube streets are detrimental to the youth, and how if left unchecked we all will be personally responsible.
Yes, y'all heard what's just read. Do I have to bear witness to it? I recorded Hassan Campbell before our first interview and everything. He stole my methodology. All methods you see used on YouTube are pretty much 98% mine, because I'm the king. So give me 1 sec. I'm going to show y'all what I'm saying. Give me 1 sec. Because I can show better than tell. Y'all don't want to believe me anyway, right? So, you see all this stuff? This is Hassan Camel. But look at that one little guy right there. Let's hit that. Hassan's first conversation with Israel Doctrine. It's on a podcast. You hear it? Did I lie? No, I didn't lie. So when I tell you that a lot of people have stolen my things on YouTube, I'm $1 million man without the $1 million. I'm the king without the crown. I'm the man. But when nobody else say it, but I blow it up every now and then. I don't like to brag on myself. I am that I am. Don't need to brag. I have people out here chasing me, trying to dim my light because it's blinding. I shine so bright. It's hurting people. So they're doing their best, sodomite doctrine to dim my light.
You have now entered the world of YouTube street knowledge. Get your popcorn and a nice beverage because
I done talked too much. I done messed up. Can't do that one no more. Can't do that one no more.
You have now entered the world of YouTube street knowledge. Get your popcorn and a nice beverage because this is another 5K1 episode that goes deep. Get a pen and a pad and take notes. Rewind the video later and get the greatest perspective on these topics online from a biblical perspective. This is Hip Hop 101, or as I call it at Israel Doctrine. Here Israel people half-open prophecies.
Because this is a forecast channel. This is not a broadcast channel. This is a forecast. Like meteorologists and stuff forecast the weather. We forecast what goes on in this street. You know why? Because we set the temperature of the streets. Everything started on this channel. Bloods gang banging with Crips started on this channel with Pacoma Pyru, Pit Boss, and Brother Polite, New York Crip. Gang banging, all that stuff. It started on this channel. This is what has set the tone for what's going on. Like I said, I don't like to brag, but facts are facts. And nobody's talking about it. Everybody's afraid of this subject. No commentary, no nothing. Nobody's speaking about it. They're afraid to blow it up.
Now for the first star of this episode, none other than TEK-KAH-SHE.
I done messed up again. Hey, let me be quiet and just let the computer read. I don't want to mess up like that no more. But I am a stroke victim.
Now for the first star of this episode, none other than TEK-KAH-SHE 6'9", who first became a famous rap artist in hip-hop, but who also became famous as a known federal informant. I want to speak a little bit on the trial of the 9 Trey gangsters and how that would dwarf his success in hip-hop. The trial of the 9 Trey gangsters was a criminal case against 11 alleged members and associates of the street gang 9 Trey gang.
Okay, so y'all not hearing nothing? Do me a favor, please, and come in the show and tell me what's going on, because I don't know. I see you talking in the side chat. I can't figure out what's going on. I don't know if it's your phone or whatever. But anybody know what's going on from that point, please come in here and talk to me, please. Until then, I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing.
Gangsters. The 9 Trey Gangsters is also a gang set that claimed to be a spin-off of group from the notorious California gang The Bloods.
So as you can see, everything is just like Compton because there's a lot of biters because Compton then set the rules like I'm setting the rules. People claiming blocks they never heard of, never seen. Khalil Money claimed them same blocks. Sodomite doctrine claimed them same blocks. Oop, copying. Do what we have to do.
The Bloods is important to remember as we will be discussing a little later how California-based hip-hop manager Wack 100 and former New York Blood Hassan Campbell would cross paths on YouTube. The 9 Trey Gangsters case is notable for its inclusion of rapper TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine, real name Daniel Hernandez, and his associate KAH-SHE Jordan as defendants. The men were indicted on charges related to racketeering, weapon possession, and conspiracy to commit murder. TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine was quickly made a person of interest in these charges and was apprehended alongside 5 other men on November 18, 2018, following a 5-year joint investigation by the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, the New York Police Department, NYPD, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, ATF. Upon his arrest, TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine was initially denied bail and pleaded not guilty to all charges. He later changed his plea to guilty after agreeing to a deal with law enforcement on February 1, 2019. The guilty plea resulted in TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine admitting his guilt and testifying against his co-defendants, as well as full cooperation and an insistence to commit no further crimes, in exchange for reduced prison time. On December 18, 2019, Hernandez, also known as TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine, was sentenced to 2 years in prison, a $35,000 fine, 5 years of supervised release, and 1,000 hours of community service. TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine ended up avoiding a potential minimum sentence of 47 years. TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine was originally set to be released on November 18, 2020, although his attorney Lance Lazaro claimed TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine will be released ahead of schedule. His new release date was set for August 2, 2020, although reports surfaced saying he may be released as early as July 31, 2020. However, on April 1, 2020, Federal Judge Paul Engelmayer ordered TEK-KAH-SHE 6ix9ine to serve the remainder of his sentence in home confinement starting the next day.
So, I just want to report of what you're hearing, if you're hearing or not hearing. You're up.
I didn't hear that. I heard all that stuff talking, but when you went and clicked on that video, you asked us, did y'all hear that? And no one heard the video. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Okay, as long as they hearing the conversation. All right, sister, I'm gonna get back to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all, let me get back to the conversation. Pac and Fatal.
I want all of the people who have been a part of hip-hop since it began in the late 70s and early 1980s to be aware of how the United States government under various administrations have been weaponized against us. I want you all to know about the criminal enterprises and organizations that exist in the United States of America that have been used against us all to infiltrate the hip-hop culture. The infiltration I speak of comes by way of counterintelligence operatives and confidential human sources that have been modernized after the days of J. Edgar Hoover's Federal Bureau of Investigation.
I've been under investigation for 8 years. And as stated by him, I knocked on his door because I thought I was dealing with a citizen. I didn't know I was dealing with a criminal that sold drugs and robbed stores and then went told on another criminal, aka Radden, getting on the stand, pointing his finger and confidentially informing the government. I didn't know that until I interviewed him. I was like, what the hell? He tried to take down my YouTube channel at that time. I weathered the storm. Sonetta, Michael Evans, everybody and their mama was attacking me. I weathered the storm. I weathered the storm, gave it to Sonetta. Sonetta, you can interview him. Just like your hero and everything. You over there playing fake government informants and stuff. We got one right here. You can interview him. Him and Sonetta became the best of friends. Nobody said anything about their friendship. Nobody. Inky, Jabari, Polite. Nobody said nothing about their friendship. And they knew he was a government informant. Because Sonetta and Mike Well would call it out early on. Nobody said a thing. Nobody said a thing. But me.
The weaponization of government and the corruption that involves criminality used to destroy the communities of those that the government identifies as blacks, whites, Native Americans, Latinos, Asians, and African American is real. Though people tend to use race, the Bible does not deal in race but instead speaks on nationality. Do a quick search of a Bible online, and the word race is not even in the King James Version as it relates to people. I am here to let you all know from first-hand experience that social media sites like YouTube and the government operatives online and the social influencers online and offline have been weaponized in an attempt to subject anyone with a voice and anyone who uses that voice to go against the bureaucratic status quo to hit them with a strategic lawsuit against public participation. This misuse of the courts or lawfare, which is a modern term used to explain what a strategic lawsuit against public participation is, has caused much pain and suffering in this new age version of ancient empires akin to the Roman Empire. The strategy in lawfare is to make your opponent subject to false lawsuits and to have to hire attorneys. To understand lawfare, one has to understand that some people realize that winning or losing a court case is not always the objective, and to have someone have to fight a lawsuit to win can be enough to crush any opposition. Then on the other hand, the courts are being used to launch fake lawsuits to cover up crimes. The courts have been corrupted to the point that people who run criminal enterprises has misused the public trust and strategically initiated lawsuits against speaking on certain topics in the public.
How do I know? Because I've been subject to a strategic lawsuit against public participation. When I started participating in this gay man raping a young boy and a picture being given to her son Camel, I scared the documentaries who are still working in the prison system to this very day. I'm from the rack, Chirac, where you got people like King Von and Lou Durk and all them people and O-Block people who are kinsmen to the same person hit me with the strategic lawsuit. Lady from Chicago that did the trapped in the culture, because her and her people are trapped in the culture. They tried to trap me in the culture. I got my own culture, an Israelite culture, and I'm trapped in it. I'm trapped in it. You can't trap me in nothing else. If you ain't trying to trap me in that, you ain't gonna get me.
This 5K1 series is to make information active in the YouTube streets on how these 5K1 recipients in hip-hop like TEK-KAH-SHE 69 have infiltrated hip-hop in the YouTube streets and in the real streets, and to inform the viewers from my unique vantage point and in-depth coverage on the topics that are being used online to spread improper propaganda.
Improper propaganda. I come with proper propaganda because I'm a true soldier. I'm a real roughneck, the last of the dying breed that stands for something and don't fall for anything. no one would take me on. No one's going to deal with this subject matter that we talking about. Not debated or nothing, because as it says in the beginning, I'm about the truth. I'm not about being right. I just want to know that I'm out here spitting nothing but factual truth. And can't nobody speak against it. Sodomized doctrine or anybody.
I want to switch gears for just a second so that I can give a little history lesson on how an old program was modernized and how that program is now being used in hip-hop to take down what the government defines as criminal organizations. Anytime you have a system in play as big as the United States government and then the system in play lacks any real accountability, there is always room for corruption to set in. There is an old saying that goes, "There is nothing new under the sun."
Nothing new under the sun. So you got your William O'Neill's online chasing me. Shitty Blood. You know who Shitty Blood is? He's the clone of Shitty Cuz, who killed Nipsey Hussle. See, these are the things that I had to face. I would have never saw this shit rapping. I would have never saw it rapping. I wanted to be a rapper at first, then I became a YouTuber. Who would have thought one day you could be a YouTuber to the point where you could be the biggest YouTuber in the world and stuff? I used to have 14,000 subscribers. Somebody took them though.
What we are witnessing today is just a repeat of what went on before our time with the people who came before us, and it is all just redressed to look like it's new. What I am speaking of here about confidential informants and known informants in hip-hop can be defined in one ancient term. The ancient term for today's informants is found in the term used in the old times of slavery: man, mission.
Manumission. Go do some research online. Manumission. Man, you mission. You see it? I have to do this because I'm dyslexic. Right? Manumission. Though I'm dyslexic, nobody messing with me. Ain't nobody trying me. Ain't nobody countering my conversation.
The term man, mission is important because it is a term that was used before our time to define someone who was freed from slavery by their masters or slave owners. It was defined in some circles by one being willing to tell on another to achieve his or her own freedom. The term denotes what some people in the criminal world call snitching or being a rat today. Others may define the term as one who is doing one's civic duties. Man, mission is a noun, a word, other than a pronoun, used to identify any of a class of people, places, or things, common noun, or to name a particular one of these, proper noun.
Manumission. See, they could speak to me about that. We could talk about it. We could do everything about it. But I've learned that when I talk about sodomite doctrine, he loved it. I was quiet, wasn't saying nothing. He tried to find a way to ease into my world. So all I'm gonna do is shut up about him. I'm gonna talk about him doing this, but he ain't gonna say nothing about this. He dare not say nothing about this. He want to talk about sodomite stuff. All I can say is you a damn lie. You need to quit lying in these YouTube streets.
Man, mission, simple definition, release from slavery. Let's dive a little deeper into the definitions. Manumission, or enfranchisement, is the act of freeing slaves by their owners. Different approaches to manumission were developed, each specific to the time and place of a particular society. Say it again. Manumission, quasi to manumissio, is the act by which a master enfranchises his slave or serf, and places him, so to speak, out of his hands. This term is taken from Roman law, where enfranchisement is called manumissio. We usually say enfranchisement.
Like I said, right here we start a lot of stuff. People watch and they steal it and take it to their platforms. They figure YouTube and these government operatives out here messing with me are not allowing my information to get through where nobody can see it. So bigger YouTubers watch me. It's 5 people watching me, and I bet you they big YouTubers. And they trying to figure out a way to tap into this Karl Albert Israel doctrine shit.
Now back to TEK-KAH-SHE 69 and how his informing would be used in these YouTube streets to propel Hassan Campbell into the social influencing stratosphere with WAC 100.
Now they got 50 Cent for putting them out of the stratosphere. He went to Jay Prince. He went at Farrakhan. He went at all these people. They couldn't blow him up. So now they got people in jail and stuff doing what they can to blow people up on YouTube. Charleston White and all that shit. I'm telling you, man, it's been sad these 8 years watching what they doing.
To get to the bottom of TEK-KAH-SHE 69, Hassan Campbell, and WAC 100 connection, you definitely might want to go back and watch the videos I did on the official launch to this 5K1 series. The official launch of my 5K1 series was a 2-part episode on my relationship that turned sour with the nationally known federal witness formerly known by the name his parents gave him, Lloyd Rodney Clark. Lloyd Rodney Clark would go into the Federal Witness Security Protection Program, with the government changing his name to Khalil Ashanti. Khalil Ashanti would change his name another time and now goes by the name Khalil Amani. Khalil Amani, if you all do not know, is a person who testified in the federal government takedown of Miami-based cult leader Yahya Ben Yahya in the 1980s. Khalil Amani would later become an author, writer, and a hip-hop journalist. Khalil Amani is known by many for his writing as a journalist for the now-deceased hip-hop DJ TEK-KAH-SHE Straight Stuntin' magazine. I met Khalil Amani after finding out about his article published on April 2, 2013, titled, Afrika Bambaataa, Gay and Date Raping?
Gay and date raping. Because he's a sodomite priest. Should I say a sodomite priestess? You know, he down with that goddess and all that stuff. Y'all remember somebody used to run around teaching goddesses and all that stuff back in the day, right? He's now in the federal prison down in Florida for date raping a young girl or kidnapping her and shooting semen in her face and stuff.
Now here is where the odds that TEK-KAH-SHE 69 was ordered to be released on April the 1st, 2020 being eerily similar to the day of his ordered release being done on the exact same day of April the 1st, where it was alleged on April 1st, 2013 the godfather of hip-hop Afrika Bambaataa and his manager Ahmed Henderson was stabbed in a New Rochelle apartment in New York City following the sexual assault of an underage teenage boy. I do not believe in coincidences as the days in the year that things tend to happen on in this crazy world will line up when you do knowledge to how people in hip-hop have crossed paths with this Afrika Bambaataa narrative and to people like Hassan Campbell.
It ain't no coincidence. Remember, nothing new under the sun. Was just stated a couple lines back, correct? Nothing new under the sun. April, my birth month, a lot of stuff didn't happen.
Many people know me in this platform for my investigative journalism on the Afrika Bambaataa molestation allegations, which went national in 2016. Many of you also know that my investigation into Afrika Bambaataa led me to DJ K-SHE. DJ K-SHE, who was a big influencer in hip-hop prior to his death, was living a double life of sorts, as I was able to uncover that he hired a nationally known federal informant to write for his magazine. I also was able to find out DJ K-SHE, who was a former member of hip-hop's first family, the Universal Zulu Nation, and a former member of New York City's Black Spades gang, called and informed Khalil Amani in 2013 to write and publish the article Afrika Bambaataa, Gay and Date Raping. The article, Afrika Bambaataa, Gay and Date Raping, informed hip-hop readers online about the godfather of hip-hop, Afrika Bambaataa, being an alleged child sex trafficker of minors and date raping a Hispanic or Latino teenager and getting stabbed in the process, along with his manager Ahmed Henderson, in a New Rochelle apartment in New York City on April 1st, 2013.
April the 1st. When did DJ K-SHE die? It wasn't April the 1st, but it was in April. Hey, that's a month. You know why? Because that's the beginning of the year. Not the Roman year, but God's year. Lunar year. It starts off around that time. And they get to working around that time.
It is important that anyone who is new to this series understand that in 2016 Ronald B. Stinger Savage and Hassan Poppy Campbell made national news when they alleged that as teenagers growing up in New York City, they were both victims of sexual assault and molestation by Afrika Bambaataa. The allegations of Ronald Savage and Hassan Campbell would claim that in the late 80s and early 1990s, Afrika Bambaataa, who was an adult at the time, sexually molested them as well as other teenage boys who lived in or frequented the Bronx River housing projects in New York City. Ronald B. Stinger Savage had his story about his molestation by Afrika Bambaataa was featured in the New York Daily News publication and in an interview on Fox 5 News with reporter Lisa Evers. Hassan Campbell, who claimed similar allegations against Afrika Bambaataa that same year, did so during a press conference on Sonnetter TV with the advocacy group Straight Black Pride and in association with Hip Hop's Doggy Diamonds TV.
All these individuals know the story. They know who I am. They know everything. They dare not say my name. They dare not say my name. Doggy Diamonds. I spoke to him on Facebook and he was like, "Who is this?" Then he like, "You gay or something?" He said something very funny. I was like, man, but bitch niggas do what bitch niggas do. I ain't mad at them. I know bitch niggas work for sodomite doctrine. I know it. Been knowing it. Been telling people. So man, all this YouTube ain't nothing but counterintelligence now.
Hassan Campbell has grown since his allegations against Afrika Bambaataa to be a big social influencer on YouTube in 2025 with more than 500,000 subscribers. After Ronald B. Stinger Savage and Hassan Poppy Campbell came out, I was able to interview Hassan Campbell in 2017 on my now wrongfully terminated channel on YouTube, Israel Doctrine Reloaded. My wrongfully terminated channel on YouTube is also where I conducted my first interview with Khalil Amani, the nationally known federal informant that wrote the article for DJ K-SHE in 2013 titled Afrika Bambaataa Gay and Date Raping. After my interview with Hassan Campbell in 2017, I began to do further investigative journalism into his allegations of child sex trafficking against Afrika Bambaataa. I was shocked to find out about the teenage boy who they alleged stabbed Afrika Bambaataa and his manager Ahmed Henderson in 2013. I would find out after watching Hassan Campbell give an interview with YouTuber Queen's Flip on his episode number 29, where Hassan Campbell claims he was given a photo of the teenage boy who stabbed Afrika Bambaataa and that he and other members of the Zulu Warriors security company was ordered to murder the teen victim. The reason later given for the order to murder the teen was so that his story of molestation and why he stabbed Afrika Bambaataa and his manager could not make it into the public.
So the boy hasn't been seen since that time. There's been lies from Khalil Money that the boy name is such and such. There's been lies from Hassan Campbell that he in jail, he stabbing people and stuff because he done went crazy and stuff. They got all kind of stories about this boy, but you haven't heard from him. You haven't seen him. He hasn't did the Ron Savage and Hassan Campbell and came out and became a big YouTube influencer. Maybe because his life has been taken and he hasn't had the ability to do it. But I asked the question, told Lady Wheels, she like, you ain't telling me nothing I don't know. Everything you know, I know. Why you ain't tell the government then? Why you ain't tell the FBI somebody that Hassan Campbell possibly murdered the boy before me? You didn't do that. Troy Star Terrain didn't do that. None of you people that made that documentary, and that's why y'all ASS is trapped in the culture, because y'all are part of these prisons and these street organizations that the government runs. If you ask me, it's my alleged allegations. It's alleged. I don't know shit. I'm just alleging it.
I always give the newer listeners the backstory of this platform and my investigative journalism. When people see this episode of the 5K1 series, which features TEK-KAH-SHE 6'9", Hassan Campbell, and hip-hop manager and West Coast arm of Straight Stuntin' magazine WAC 100, that you all understand that this runs deep in hip-hop. The confidential human sources and the known federal witnesses in hip-hop are spread out all over the YouTube streets. YouTube streets is a phrase that my platform popularized going to war to get to the bottom of what really happened to the teenage boy they say stabbed Afrika Bambaataa. The term YouTube streets was stated on my platform as far back as late 2017 or early 2018 to express how the real streets, which involves the gangsters, prostitutes, pushers, murderers, movers, and shakers, have flooded this internet and social media with the content a lot of us consume. I also was forward thinking in 2018 as I was realizing that the people like Hassan Campbell making content and claiming to be street would later bring a gang of new content creators onto YouTube to assist in rackets just like what goes on in the real streets.
See, I'm an intelligent brother. It frustrates people because you remember the and Ra squad? I had them all on here crying like, don't tell them we Masons and this and that. And everybody was talking crazy from Ishmael Bay to Robert West to all of them. I've been informing on these wicked YouTubers because they've been out here a long time. I came up with a term for it. Hotep Ultra. Because I knew they was under mind control then or under control of something or somebody at that time. Layla Wheels had Robert West, who is known as Unc the God Killer, call me. That's how they move. They all related through Kemet. And who was it that Kemet was doing their injustice to? Hebrews. And the Lord God of Israel brought them up out of Kemet and some Kemites out of Kemet, baptized them, washed them, and made them born again. You got to be born again before you make it to the promised land. And I'll be telling y'all something about that in the future, because the true Israel of God, because I am the truest to come up out of that place, the physical camp known as the Israel of God. I'm the truest. It's none truer than me that ever left that place or in that place. And I bet you they won't say nothing against me. Or I'm like Pac, I'll roll on their ass like an ambulance.
I am not saying that everyone who affiliates with people like Hassan, Poppy, Campbell or WAC 100, or TEK-KAH-SHE 69, or formerly to a TEK-KAH-SHE is a 5K1 recipient. What I do want to speak about is some key factors that leads many to believe that there is a gang of 5K1 affiliate terrorizing people online and a racket on YouTube and thing going on offline that is tied at the heart to people like TEK-KAH-SHE 69.
It's a pretty long one, people, but we're going to deal with it. As you can see, I ain't messing up and got the female voice running. I did it, 2 times? I am a stroke victim.
I would like to take another brief intermission with this sidebar. I would like to congratulate Ronald B. Stinger Savage of the hip-hop movement for his recent decision to leave New York City's Democratic Party and join the Make America Great Again Republican Party movement championed by the 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. I myself voted for Donald J. Trump in 2024 November presidential election. Israel Doctrine salutes Ronald B. Stinger Savage for the decision. He recently announced that he decided to switch political parties and to make America great again. I hope that Ronald Savage's decision will shape and mold hip-hop in the days to come, as I myself intend to use my information to bring forth a new community order on YouTube, as I have shaped many content creators over the years in these YouTube streets.
Now, did y'all know that Ron Savage followed me? Because he probably heard me when I said I voted for Donald Trump. Though a lot of y'all wanted to go with Kamala Harris. You ain't never been on the right side. What made me think that y'all would pick the right side. And I ain't worried about it, because you're going to get killed one day for something. You're going to get talked about one day for something. I'm going to do me, and if you don't like it, I put up on Bernie Mac thing. Fuck you. As Bernie Mac would say, if they don't like you for being you, fuck them.
It is my hope that Ronald Savage, now as a Republican, tells the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it relates to Hassan Campbell and what he did to the residents of Bronx River housing projects, as he was recently alleged to have been shot terrorizing the residents.
Terrorizing. Khalil Money don't speak on that. He want to follow up behind me because he think he can pump me out. Nigga, you better, hey, you got another thing coming.
In similar fashion to previous episodes, we are speaking on yet another nationally known federal informant and 5K1 recipient in hip-hop, the rapper TEK-KAH-SHE 69, real name Daniel Hernandez, and his relationship with YouTuber Hassan Poppy Campbell and WAC 100, and how Hassan Campbell stole a move that I did to him prior to our first interview and used that move on WAC 100, and how it was all tied together with a sit-down with TEK-KAH-SHE 69.
Did I prove he stole the move? Khalil Money was going to steal the move. That happened when I released the audio on him and Shabir Bey. He wasn't talking to Shabir Bey. He was informing me about his sit down with Shabir Bey. And if you know he a Bebe boy, who boy he is, Africa Bambata Bey. Yeah, I've been in the middle of all this stuff, but nobody speaks about me because they like, his face was on that thing and it showed that interview and everything on the podcast and everything. I could have did a lot of work to stay next to her son. I didn't want to be that big. Like I told him, go blow up, son. The bigger you are, the bigger I shall be eventually. You can grow up, blow up to the moon and back. I'm going to ride with you. Khalil trying to go on a ride with me now. Carl, you can blow up. I'm going to be with you. They're going to talk about me when I'm dead and gone.
The move I am referring to that Hassan Campbell used that I did to him was recording his phone call made to me before I interviewed him in 2017. Hassan Campbell was unaware at the time that I was very interested in protecting myself interviewing a man who claimed the godfather of hip-hop molested him as a teen. I was wise to record Hassan Campbell because he would begin to speak to me about murdering Afrika Bambaataa and Frank Gehry of Sonnetter TV. Hassan Campbell prior to our interview would make incriminating statements about murdering people, even to the tune that Frank Gehry set him up with rapper Immortal Technique to have him murdered for coming out on Afrika Bambaataa. Hassan Campbell would later go on to record WAC 100 in a private call and go viral after he claimed that WAC 100 and the now incarcerated Big U of Rolling 60s Crips was extorting the deceased rapper Nipsey Hussle and his estate. Hassan Campbell was using the exact same method I used to expose that he was a willing participant in the child sex trafficking of Afrika Bambaataa. Where TEK-KAH-SHE 69 fits into that is for many years before TEK-KAH-SHE 69 arrest Hassan Campbell would make videos about him. The videos Hassan Campbell made about TEK-KAH-SHE 69 was a means to make false prophecies about how TEK-KAH-SHE 69 would fall. I say false prophecies because I believe Hassan Campbell was working with the government prior to TEK-KAH-SHE 69 arrest.
We ain't even going to get on TEK-KAH-SHE 69. We on him, but we ain't going to get soup on him and stuff. I don't want to fit him and he be sitting on my block talking crazy. I don't need the beef. I already got a government foreman ass nigga foaming at the mouth only getting at me.
Hassan Campbell had the Federal Bureau of Investigation called on him at least 2 times for death threats and even threats on minor children he made. The Federal Bureau of Investigation was dispatched to his home for the threats on minors and he was not arrested. For years Hassan Campbell has used his platform to make every type of threat imaginable, even bomb threats on public venues in New York City. I know this may sound crazy, but Hassan Campbell was even alleged to have been shot for terrorizing the people in Bronx River housing tenements in New York City. All of these events, like a Hollywood production, have been carried out on social media. With all the racketeering cases in hip-hop that have popularized and murders of rap artist Hassan Campbell has committed every crime that any normal person would be arrested for. Instead, Hassan Campbell began to rub shoulders with WAC 100 and TEK-KAH-SHE 69 after he came home as a federal witness who took down his former gang.
Got some more to go, people. As you can see, the length of what we got to go. It's going to get interesting here in a minute because I'm going to say some things that you're not knowledgeable of. But afterwards, you shall be.
WAC 100 claims to be a Peru blood. TEK-KAH-SHE 69 was a Nine-Tray blood. Hassan Campbell was a blood and a Zulu warrior under the Universal Zulu Nation. Ice-T is a member of the Zulu Nation. Ice Cube is a member of the Zulu Nation. Lil Wayne is a member of the Zulu Nation. Nasser Jones is a member of the Zulu Nation. I could run a list from here to the end of the earth of how many people are Zulu Nation or affiliate of the nation. DJ K-Slay was a member of Zulu Nation. Is Russell Simmons a member of Zulu Nation too? How many people in hip-hop are known informants and how many are confidential human sources with 5K1 proffer agreements? TEK-KAH-SHE 69 is a known informant. WAC 100 and DJ K-Slay had a known informant Khalil Amani writing for their magazine. Should I go on? Praz from the Fugees is a known informant. Desiree Perez, the CEO of Rock Nation, is a known informant. People recently claimed that the battle rapper Sue Surf signed a proffer and informed on the New Jersey Rolling 60 scripts tied to the Big U racketeering case. The list of the 6 degrees of separation is endless. I just posted a recent video with WAC 100 having a sit-down discussion on how he wrote a book for the YNs. Which reminds me of Khalil Imani, who was telling Hassan Campbell how he wanted to write his book for him, being that Khalil Imani is a college graduate and English major. The informants are writing books and doing documentaries, but many of them, like TEK-KAH-SHE 69, Hassan Campbell, and WAC 100, are nothing less than underformed criminals.
Deep. Deeper than Atlantis. That's deep. Y'all scratching your heads. Sodomite doctrine. You gonna address some of this? You're afraid of this, ain't you, sodomite doctrine? Like, damn, that boy got a little mind on him.
Khalil Imani once threatened that he could have WAC 100 do physical harm to California-based YouTube content creator Kevin Gillespie, aka Kev Gills of Kevro University. Since when has a nationally known federal informant made open threats using a so-called top-level gang affiliate online? That is how any of you all can make the educated guess that TEK-KAH-SHE 69, Hassan Campbell, is underformed informants online. Khalil Imani would later have a direct sit-down interview with WAC 100 to discuss homosexuality in hip-hop. WAC 100 would totally agree to support the LGBTQIA+ in hip-hop. What I am saying here mainly about the real potential of these underformed criminals is not slander, as recent news reports on TEK-KAH-SHE 69 proves that there is a lot of merit to what I have said here.
But I'm ready to go to court to anybody that's ready to take me to court. Because I'm winning until I lose. And I ain't lost shit. And as you can see, writing the book ain't nothing but a step around the corner. I did so many episodes, all these long ass episodes. But he can't write, he can't do this, he can't do that.
Here is some proof of unreformed criminality of TEK-KAH-SHE 69. On September 26, 2025, NBC News reports rapper TEK-KAH-SHE 69 ordered held in home detention after mall altercation. TEK-KAH-SHE 69, who has faced years of legal battles and stints in jail, was ordered held on home detention on Thursday after a fight at a Florida mall that broke the conditions of his probation, a Southern District of New York spokesperson told NBC News. The rapper, whose real name is Daniel Hernandez, was arraigned in the Southern District of New York over the August mall fight and pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor battery specification as part of his probation terms, according to a federal court docket.
But it's to be friends with sodomite doctrine. You have something to do with that sodomite doctrine. You ain't even gonna speak on it. Can't speak on it, right? Because the government still got your ass on the surveillance.
People who are tied to or close to TEK-KAH-SHE 69 are also being murdered, and this includes women. On August 19, 2025, CBS local news reports, rapper TEK-KAH-SHE 69 mourns death of close friend. The fatal shooting of influencer Ariella Mejia Polanco is under investigation in Westchester County. Many in New York City's hip-hop and nightlife communities are mourning the death of social media influencer Ariella Mejia Polanco. The 33-year-old was shot dead Sunday morning while driving alone in her car on the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon. The victim was a close friend of the controversial rapper and former gang member known as TEK-KAH-SHE 69. He posted on social media his love for Mejia Polanco, whom he featured in the 2023 music video.
Sodomite doctrine. Sodomite doctrine. Can you deal with Israel doctrine on what Israel doctrine talking about? You swore to people when I watch that video, you gonna chase me here to the end of the world until you die, until you dead and gone. Here's the topic right here. Until you dead and gone, you ain't gonna touch it.
I am not saying TEK-KAH-SHE 69 killed Ariel Mahiapolenko, but I am speaking of how the entire 5K1 lifestyle that surrounds these individuals involves sex, money, and murder. The 5K1 lifestyle involves snitching to avoid accountability, and it involves the 5K1 unreformed criminals being weaponized with a get-out-of-jail-free card or even used to commit murders, as in the case of the informant who killed rapper Nipsey Hussle. It is not far-fetched to look at the current government under Donald J. Trump and to see the former head of the Federal Bureau of Investigation recently indicted for government corruption. It is not far-fetched to say the government has been weaponized in hip-hop when reports are being said that the former CIA director John Brennan is going to be indicted for government corruption. With the recent arrest of NBA coach and professional basketball players, that what we are witnessing in the current is a whole new era of counterintelligence and a slew of new 5K1 recipients. With people like TEK-KAH-SHE 69 being glorified for content, with people like Hassan Campbell being celebrated for being a social influencer who said that he took a photo to kill a teen for Afrika Bambaataa, with people like WAC 100 being looked at as a non-federal witness but having federal informants all around him under the disguise of entertainment, but having people he was affiliating with taken down in high-profile racketeering cases. This is nothing to play with in these YouTube streets. Remember that Hassan Campbell allegedly got shot doing a live video in Bronx River housing projects in New York City? Now add it all together and shake it up and you have a recipe for a powder keg and a coming explosion in these YouTube streets.
Boom! Where the bomb at? I ain't got no bombs. Yes, people, what you hearing is some stuff that'll blow your head off, though. It's deep. That's why I call it the YouTube streets. What better name? That's why the terminology has been popularized to the point where everybody and their mammy is saying it. Everybody and their mammy. If it ain't YouTube streets, it's Instagram streets. It's what's the Clubhouse streets? Everything are the streets now. Who made them the streets?
When nationally known informants and potential confidential human sources are fraternizing in all of our faces, I myself have the eyes to see and the ears to hear what is being shown and spoken of in these YouTube streets. Now for some questions before we conclude this 5K1 episode 2. What are the incentives on cash payments when these 5K1 recipients inform? Are some getting the government stipend and their school tuition fees waived? Are they getting a clean credit history and previous crimes expunged in many cases? Is the program reform them into model citizens or is it enhancing their criminal minds? We over here at least believe there is big money involved if we look at TEK-KAH-SHE 69 and his informing and what happened after he kept working as an informant even after taking down the gang he informed on. Now for the biggest question. Has these YouTube streets been flooded with individuals who have committed state and federal crimes after informing on their co-defendants?
Just a little bit more to go, people. Can you undo it? The weak-hearted can't do it.
If you want to know the answer to these questions, you do not want to miss the 5K1 series episode number 3 that will be about the now deceased legendary hip-hop DJ TEK-KAH-SHE. In the next episode we will deep dive again into the Street Sweepers Entertainment, co-owner of Straight Stumpkin Magazine, Hot 97, and Shady 45 Satellite Radio, and the member of the organization Kill All Rats Mr. Keith Grayson, or also known as DJ TEK-KAH-SHE.
KAH-SHE about to get put on a slab. Khalil gonna be mad. Hey, Khalil, you gotta say something. You gotta say something. You better not do no about KAH-SHE and my hip hop boss.
Disclaimer. Israel Doctrine Entertainment in the 5K1 series will not be to bring slander or to provide any false information to the viewers. The views expressed during these episodes will be supported by factual statements or documentation or video presentation that will prove what is being discussed. The views expressed here will be in the form of questions from time to time and will always provide information with the intent for the viewers to use their own critical thinking skills. The ultimate goal of this series is to have the viewers do further research and to form their own conclusions on the subject matter of each of the 5K1 series episodes.
Because knowing is half the battle. Half of this stuff street niggas don't know. It's going on right up under their nose, and they are getting put in jail, have to do their 5K1. Now they're state property, and they're out here informing to save their lives.
Hit the like button, share this video with friends and family on social media platforms, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification to be alerted when we are dropping the next episode, become a member, leave a comment under the video, be the first to hear the greatest perspectives from the king of these YouTube streets.
Thank you for watching. I know it was a long episode. It helps though when you make longer episodes. So sorry for the length.